Welcome to the Doug and Commish Show. I am Doug. There is no Commish tonight. He is out again. We are starting to be curious about his dedication. He is in hiding mainly because Tim Tebow is being a successful fantasy quarterback, as well as the whole hand-holding incident. He also has major gout, and that's been an issue that he's had to deal with in the last couple of years, and we are all discovering it, and we are all starting to be infected by it. So we do wish him a speedy recovery. Anyway, again, this is the podcast version, so my suggestions are just to turn up the volume, listen to my beautiful baritone voice, and we'll get started. Our first guest that we're going to have on the show is Mike from the Nappy Headed Foe, and we'll get that phone call right now. Mike, are you there?
Yes, Douglas, how are you?
Mike, good to hear from you. How you been?
Doing good. It's been a long week.
Yeah.
A lot of late nights, staying up talking with these other GMs. It's going to be a longer next 7 days before the trade deadline.
Yeah, I'm with you. You know, the big question is how's your hammy?
Actually, Doug, I thought it was pretty serious there for the first couple of days, but most of the pain has subsided.
Okay.
And I'm good to go for the next flag football meeting that we have.
All right, yeah, we saw you pull up lame, and we were getting a little bit nervous. Rumor had it you were out at least 2 to 4 weeks, but you think if we had a game Saturday, would you be game time decision? What do you think?
I'd be a questionable, but a close to probable though.
All right.
I'd be there. I'd make myself available.
All right, sounds good. All right, well, Mike, you're having a decent season, 6-3 in the competitive Shula division. And has there been any big surprises from your roster this year?
Oh yeah, I've got a couple. If you'll remember draft day, I was very hesitant to draft Frank Gore and Steve Smith. I was really just reluctant to take them, but I did it anyway. So I can't really take any credit for those two guys.
Yeah.
I really did not want to draft them, but yes, they've been great surprises.
Yeah.
And two main reasons why I am where I am right now.
Any disappointments though?
Yeah, I thought Tim Hightower is going to be big this year.
Yeah.
He let me down. I shouldn't have trusted Shanahan's offense.
Can't trust Shanahan as a coach.
The preseason hype of Hightower got me there.
Yep.
I think it got a few other people, so I didn't feel too bad. But
yeah.
Hightower was the big one.
Now, recently, Antonio Brown's been coming on big for your team. I mean, what was that? Was that a measure of scouting by your guys, or has he just decided to push it up an extra notch, or what is it?
You know what? I will actually take a little bit of credit for that. I noticed a few weeks ago that he was creeping up on Mike Wallace in total targets for the team, and he's surpassed Mike Wallace now. I think he's got 65 targets, and Mike Wallace is down at 57 or something like that.
Yeah.
So, Ben Roethlisberger seems to like him, so I think I've got a pretty good number 3 wide receiver now.
Oh, definitely. Now, as far as this year, when we're looking at the Shula, that's been kind of the big topic. And are you more surprised that we haven't had a playoff yet where every team in the division has made it? Or is that more of a surprise to you, or is it more of a surprise if they did all make it?
Oh, it would definitely be more of a surprise if they did all make it. Because that would mean that, obviously, one division has to be just horrible, which it is this year with the Knoll.
Mm-hmm.
The Knoll, I don't know, I think the Knoll went 3 weeks without winning a game, and that's where the Shula really took off.
Yeah.
That's where the Bean took off and got a few wins, and he's now 6-3. So yeah, the Knoll was bad. It'll be a huge surprise if every Shula team gets in. That'll be a shocker to me.
Yeah, I think so too. With the leader of the Knoll being at 4-5, it's anybody's game down in the Knoll, and you've been one that has predicted that Toilet Town could make the playoffs. Any basis for that?
I believe he's still mathematically alive. Am I right?
I believe so. It all depends on really his interdivisional play. He needs to probably get a win this weekend to really give him a really good chance. But if he sweeps interdivision play, I think he could do it.
I just believe that looking at his team, his running backs are unbelievable and can put up Foster and Rice like numbers, like the greatest show has. And of course, he's got 4 very winnable games left on the schedule. So yeah, I think he can run the table. He just needs other things to fall in place.
Yeah. All right. Well, your matchup this week is against a rival, Bertucky. Now, Bertucky's fighting for that top playoff spot in the competitive Lombardi. You both have some decent matchups that kind of crisscross. You've got Steve Smith and he's got Cam Newton, and you've got Phillip Rivers and he's got Antonio Gates. What's your philosophy on how those things cancel out?
Well, excuse me that. I think he's got a little bit of an advantage there with Cam Newton and Antonio Gates over my Steve Smith and Phillip Rivers, in my opinion, because I believe Cam Newton is who's he going against this week?
Cam Newton.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't have that right offhand.
Yeah, because Steve Smith is going against a defense that doesn't give up very good wide receiver numbers, but Cam Newton's going against a defense that does give up good quarterback numbers. I don't know how that works, but I don't know. But, Phillip Rivers going up against Oakland. That's a decent matchup. But I believe Gates is going to be his number one target this week, and that's not good for me. I'd rather him throw it to other people. So
yeah, and obviously
he's got the advantage.
Yeah, you definitely have to worry about Cam Newton with the legs. Phillip Rivers hasn't been known for running by any means. But what has been his issue, you think, this year?
Well, I think San Diego's been bitten by the injury bug more than most teams. It seems like everybody on their roster, the offensive weapons that they have been out at least 2 or 3 weeks apiece, it seems like. So it's just hard for their offense to get in a rhythm, I would guess.
Yeah.
I'm looking. He's got some decent matchups for the rest of the year, and I'm looking for him to have a good second half.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, let me ask you this. Has there been any trades that you did or did not make that you look back and think, oh my word, thank goodness I did or did not make that trade?
You know what? Talking about Antonio Gates just reminded me of one. I traded Antonio Gates for Mark Ingram, and that has come back to haunt me ever since. I mean, I do have Aaron Hernandez, but Gates is a stud.
Yeah.
And I still wish I had Antonio Gates. Mark Ingram has done absolutely nothing for me. We're trying to get him healthy.
Yeah.
But we're pushing him, but he's not coming back just yet.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been interesting to watch your team kind of go through different waves where you're able to score some decent amount of points and win those games, as well as win some games where you don't necessarily score the most amount of points. Well, anyway, Mike, I appreciate your time. We are grateful for you. We know how busy you are. Ice up that hamstring, and good luck this week against Bertucky, and we'll see what happens in the playoffs. Hopefully, we both get there.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on the show, man.
All right, sounds good. Have a good afternoon and night.
All right. See ya.
That was Mike Ritchie, the GM of the Nappy-Headed Foe. And, we'll be joined in a little bit by another GM, one of our newest GMs, and actually the newest one, new guy. So we'll be right back.